Chamba Sports. We're so excited for you guys for this episode. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of rescheduling and scheduling conflicts, but it's happening, and we all know it's because of perfect timing. It's gonna work out, and we're so excited because we're here today with a pro basketball player. So, guys, get excited because you don't know how excited to ask all the questions that I have, and hopefully in the future we can do something amazing with this player and bring our community even closer. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Christian Zitney, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm a man on a mission to fulfill my purpose.
Hi, Christian. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
You feel nervous?
I wouldn't say nervous, just first time, just getting acclimated. It feels good. I love the setup. I love the energy and the vibe. So
okay,
it's amazing for sure.
Well, get ready because I'm gonna ask, and just like I was being nice and not talking, but now we're gonna get into it.
Let's do it. We're gonna get into it.
So, Christian, you're from Ohio, but before anything else, tell everybody where you play currently.
Okay, so I currently play in Bakersfield, California. For those who may not know, I play for a team called the Bakersfield Majestics, and I started transferred from college once I graduated to now playing semi-pro.
Nice. I'm excited. That semi-pro is like, all right. So let's talk a little bit about your life. Tell me a little bit. Now I can get all relaxed. But how did basketball come to life? How did you even decide like basketball was the thing? It was the purpose and the mission. What made you think of that?
Basketball for me has saved me, to say the very least. I grew up in a rough area, and I lost a lot of friends growing up, and it kept me disciplined on the right path. It was my escape from home, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with it. It was the way I built community. It was the way I built brotherhood, and it was just my joy. It was my peace. So when I first discovered the game, I was attached immediately.
And tell us a little bit about when you were younger, right? I know a lot of people we don't go into detail, but we're a little older, so we can go into detail a little bit. You said you lost a lot of friends. I'm sure there were specific things that happened.
Absolutely.
But what about those youth programs? What kind of was it something that your parents had to pay for? Was because we even know as parents we're like.
Right.
It's a little expensive to put our kids in sports. Like, we're not gonna lie, but a lot of the kids don't get the experience because there is no programs like that. When you were in Ohio, was that an option for you guys?
Not really. I remember having a friend who had a court down the street, and I just would, every time I would go home, like, hey, Mom, can I go outside to play? And I would just always go there. They ended up building a YMCA, which really didn't cost much, so I would go there to like spend like 6 to 8 hours a day just to go free my mind. And it was basically like my daycare, you know what I mean? And it was my escape from any type of anxiety or depression or loneliness or any type of traumatic things that I either saw or that I experienced myself. So it was therapy for me. Yeah, to say the least.
So the YMCA, for a lot of that you guys that might not know, it's like the Boys and Girls Club here. So I don't think we have a YMCA anymore.
Anymore? Oh yeah, I played with them when I was little too.
Yeah, but I don't think we have one anymore. But it's definitely like programs like that really
absolutely
help.
It does. And it's I remember I went there to shoot a documentary, and I just let the people know, like, thank you for what you do because you're saving kids' lives. Some people grow up without their parents. Some people see violent things or whatever the case may be, and being able to create a space for children to be at peace is important in this life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Because sports is a getaway, right? It's a way to experience the freedom that you might not have, anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And then after that, did you start playing middle school, or like how did that happen? How did that transition kind of go?
Honestly, just being around the game, being around friends who played varsity. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to compete against these guys. And then just slowly but surely, I started to find my way into the practice facilities at the high school. And I just kept being around the older guys. And eventually I just ended up playing middle school and then high school and then college. So.
Dang.
So when did you notice that you had like an act for it? Like
I would say... So I also lived in the DMV, which is, they produce some of the best and the most NBA players. And I would actually play against these NBA players and like be able to compete with them. And I would be like, whoa, I can really like play this game. I actually have talent, And I never really had a trainer. I didn't play AAU. Like I didn't have like a traditional route that led me to a high Division I or whatever. I just always around the love of the game. I was always like a grinder, if that makes sense. Like I believe in hard work more than anything. So yeah, that's just kind of was just bestowed upon me. It's like it fell on my lap, so to say.
And that's important because a lot of these kids now, right?
Hmm.
Because there is no resources. They don't have the resources to
Right.
go. That's exactly why we do Chamba, just
Hmm.
to kind of showcase that. But we do it because we want to give everybody a piece of exposure.
Absolutely.
Because it's not. We always tell them it's not about the camps because a lot of our kids get discouraged. Oh, I don't play club. I don't
Right.
play. I
Right.
don't go to the camps. I don't go do this. And it's like it's not about that. It's that what the
Yes.
talent, the character that you bring
Hmm.
on and off the field. That's what matters.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you brought that up
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't have the option to do that, and we want to be like to see them
Yeah.
succeed.
And I think too, I think that that's okay. I would almost recommend that more, to have things grow organically, because a lot of times things are forced, or there's a lot of social comparison,
Hmm.
which kills our joy, right?
Hmm.
And for a lot of these kids growing up, it's like, for whoever's listening, I mean, you don't have to follow the traditional route, like in order to make it, in order to be successful. You don't have to have the things or the material that the world is glamorizing. Like, as long as you stay pure, you stay a good person, you work hard, you do the right things, you'll be successful. You'll accomplish everything that you desire. So
Thank
that's
you.
my
Nicely
story.
said right
I
there.
know,
Thank
like
you.
it made me feel good. Oh, we had a morning this morning, so
Yeah,
yeah.
because, and I think we live in such a digital age where social
Hmm.
media creates this facade, like it's not reality. You get on the phone and you see these, oh, this person played here or signed here, and it's just like, what about you in your life? Look at all the blessings that you have, and look at
Hmm.
what you can continue to build upon. Like, it's not
Hmm.
about anybody else. So it's just my philosophy on it all.
No, for sure. And then where'd you play after? At what college? Like, how did that route kind
Yeah,
of go
I'm
for you
glad you
guys?
asked it, because
Yeah.
this is to touch on what we talked about earlier.
Okay.
So I went to a school called GCU in Phoenix, Arizona, and I went to go walk on. I didn't make it. Play really well, just didn't make it. Didn't work out for me. So then I ended up having to play club basketball for that school. And one day I'm in the gym, and an NBA agent sees me. He's like, "Hey, do you play anywhere?" Like, I'm like, "No, but I want to. I really want to play Division One so I can make it to the NBA." He's like, "Okay, do you mind if I like take a video for you? Do you mind if I just record a workout with you and my trainer?" I said, "Of course, no problem." We do the video. The session goes really well. They film it. I get the video, and I ended up putting it out on TikTok. It goes crazy viral. I have all these people tagging ESPN, NBA, different NBA teams, whatever. And from that moment on, I was like, wow, all I did was take a video, and I was at the right place at the right time for me to create more for myself. So from that point on, I was able to go to a school in Alabama called Faulkner University, because I sent out the film to hundreds of coaches in the country,
Oh,
and that's how I
wow.
was able to play college basketball.
That one
Nice.
film.
That one
That
video.
one video.
Nice.
One
Guys,
video.
that one opportunity, and that's all it takes.
Exactly.
So
So,
like that's what we even say with the podcast.
mhm,
Like I'm like we don't promise you everything, right? We
mhm,
don't promise you the world because we're not even there.
Yeah.
And in reality, like like you said, social media, but we're not even there.
mhm.
So when it gets to the moment where like, hey, we just want to share the opportunity with you because we don't know what's it going to do for you.
Exactly.
We've had videos blow up too for some of our athletes, but
Mhm.
it's for you. It's for
Right.
you. That's why we do it. And you took that opportunity. So
Absolutely.
I would encourage guys, if you hear his story, like do it. You want to,
Absolutely.
you never know if you're going to blow up and what opportunity that door is going to open.
Yeah, and I agree. I'm a firm believer we only have this one life. Like,
Hmm.
take advantage of every moment. Be resourceful. Do whatever. Because nowadays it's all about connections, who you know, and it's not even about what you know. So I would
Hmm.
just say, literally, to be limitless in your thinking, and anything is possible.
Yeah. So you played in college.
Hmm.
How did the college, what's the difference between
Another great
playing?
question.
Yeah.
So to be completely transparent and honest for you guys and for anybody listening, the college experience was terrible for me. My confidence was shattered. I dealt with a lot of depression, loneliness. I was in Alabama, a place that I wasn't used to, because, coming from the West Coast and then going there, it was just
Hmm.
like, oh, I don't know anybody. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not performing to my level I want to play. I'm not even playing. All these different issues.
Yeah.
So it did something to not only my thoughts, but my identity. And this is something that's also really deep for all athletes listening. Like, I had lost my identity in the sport for a while. I didn't understand what my purpose or my worth was, because I was only taught, like, pick up a basketball and just go play. And I judged myself based on my results. Or I had a therapist tell me that when she said, you love the game so much because when you're emotionally neglected, or if you go through some type of trauma, you can attach your identity. Same thing for us as men, like being a provider, or, you know what I mean? It just becomes it's psychological warfare. So I'm saying that to say you're more than what you do. And yeah, I'm just reflecting on that moment.
No, I mean that's completely true
Yeah.
because even athletes who get discouraged and they get
Mhm.
hurt and then like that is their life and then they don't know what else, but we're all human.
Absolutely.
There's more to us than just
Mhm.
sometimes just the game, like you
Mhm.
said.
1000%.
And especially for, athletes that are going off to college or thinking about going off to college, like, we have a lot of kids that we talk to and they're like, nope, we're going to stay here. And I'm like, no, go, just go. But it's not the purpose, there is two, negatives. There's everything that you have to encounter, you have to go through, and you'll go through depressions, you'll go through the loneliness and all of that, but it also in a way makes you a little bit stronger.
Absolutely.
Once you get through the hurdles, because I can say that personally, I've gone through it, so I know it takes a little bit more for you, and it makes you just a little bit stronger for you to find who you really are. Exactly. And your identity of yourself, not just the football that they put in your hand. Absolutely. Or the ball.
Yeah, and then you touched upon a good subject, which is something that she always says too, is the why. Finding a why in something, not only just doing it because, I want to be rich, I want to be famous, I want to be this and that, but if you don't have a why, it starts to eat at you a little bit, because then you're like, eventually you're going to stop and say, why am I really doing this?
Exactly.
But before everything that we do, she always says like, okay, what's our why? And I'm like, oh yeah, we got to think about that, because I mean, like I said, you brought it up perfectly. But I guess my question would be, did you find your why?
Absolutely. And I get the chills as you ask me that, because I used to be afraid to step into my why. I used to dim my light, if that makes sense. Because when you grow up a certain kind of way, you're subconsciously taught to conform to the patterns of the world and not to be renewed by your mind and your spirit. You're like, so I would sit back and be like, oh wow, I want to make it to the NBA. But not only do I want to make it to the NBA, I want to inspire millions of people. I want to impact souls. I want to be able to use my platform for change, to not be like the world. Like, yeah, we live in the world, but not being of the world. You know what I mean? So my why would literally be to inspire, love, encourage, reverse the brainwashing that goes on in our society, and just being able to stand for a greater message, and to understand that the highest human act is to inspire. It's not about our own selfish ego or greed or status or whatever. It's about being able to live a life greater than yourself. That's how I define success, is being able to give service to the world. So that's my why, for sure.
No, I'm in your same space. Like, this is my why is, same thing. It's to love, to encourage, and to motivate. Like, I want to inspire. Absolutely. And I want to push, because, a lot of people might not know this on the podcast, and we're just talking about this, Ruby. We didn't even finish our conversation, but because he was like, maybe people need to know a little bit more of us and who we are, right? And my why is to give you guys opportunities that we didn't have. A lot of you guys don't know this, but Bubba, which is our son, which is here usually, we had him at 16. So our why is to help you guys get to that level. We didn't get that opportunity. We didn't have any of those chances. And I think that is one of those things where I limit the identity part, right? I forget that that's part of my identity, but in reality, that is my identity. That is, and he might not think he's the why sometimes. That's okay. But the why is to see the other kids do it, to see that their dreams can come true. And, we're sitting here in 30 something, but there is still possibility to go and pursue those dreams.
Absolutely. Yeah. It never stops. I mean, the only limits that hold any value are the ones we place on ourselves. And a lot of times it's about understanding our inner power. Like, we are powerful beings. Like, when I think about God, I think to myself, not only God, I want this, I want that, but it's like, God, look at what you've saved me from. I still have life. I wake up every day and I can breathe. I can see, I have all my cognitive functions. And it's like, whoa, when you have the attitude of gratitude, you just attract more blessings, more abundance. And it's like, it's about just shifting the mindset, really. So just being more thankful.
It is. And we've encountered that too. We've done a little bit more of that, of like, I push it a little bit on him sometimes, but I do have to remember, like, when people come in and, like you said, when you walked in, you were like, Matt, like, see this blessing that you do have, and I'm like, wow, like, yeah, we do, like, this is cool. So I'm just seeing that, and inspiring.
Sometimes we get a little overstimulated with how much we're doing and everything. We forget to at least take a look at it. So as she says, that she needs time to reflect and see what she's done.
Time to reflect without some kids sometimes.
Yes. Like I said, life is just busy.
Life is busy, and that's a part of it. But going back to you, how does that, like, you are busy because now you're playing. So how did that college level, you played in college, did you finish up?
I did.
You finished the 4 years?
Well, I ended up transferring from that school, and I finished my degree online at GCU. But yeah, I'm sorry, I can let you finish your question.
No, go ahead. I just want to know what happened after. Like, how did you get to the Bakersfield Majestics?
Great question. So leaving GCU, I was supposed to be playing in Arizona. They were gonna have a team. And it was just for me to get filmed to be able to go play in the G League and the NBA. But then they ended up canceling the team. I was like, God, all these obstacles, all this adversity, what else do I need to do? But then I thought to myself, things aren't happening to me, they're happening for me. I said, you know what, Christian, you're not going to give up. You're not going to quit because we don't do that. We're going to stay resourceful. We're going to make these calls, calling different coaches. I ended up getting in contact with the coach out here, who was a coach. He coached at USC and he played in the NBA under Greg Popovich. So I was like, okay, God, thank you. That's a blessing. Boom, find that out. And then it led me here. I just feel like when you the law of detachment, when you detach yourself from the outcome and you just allow things to unfold, like it'll just happen. It's like, okay, all you gotta do is make a call, boom, opportunity. All you gotta do is this, instead of trying to control every move.
Yeah.
So that's what led me here. It's just being resourceful and not giving up.
And how long have you been here?
A few months now.
Okay.
A couple of months, yeah.
How's it going?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
It's going pretty good, yeah. It's new environment, new city, but it's going all right, yeah.
You like Bakersfield though?
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. I've played in
I'm like,
Alabama.
guys,
So.
Bakersfield is not that bad.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of like social media and influencers here lately, so I'm like, hey, like we're not that bad if you're trying to come, you know?
Yeah, but when we do travel, we're like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
We
There's
know
a lot
the
more out there.
difference. We know the difference.
Exactly. Right.
But playing here, like, you know, it's an environment change for you. Is it different even? Because I want to know, like, the fan environment. Because you played college and somewhere you knew, you know, you didn't know either. But I'm sure it was a lot more exciting. And how is it here?
I would say it's more chill here, more just mellow, smaller community. I would say, like, I've lived in Scottsdale, Arizona, so it's like bigger audience, bigger people.
Oh, you lived in Scotland. That's nice.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
I'm like,
of
you live in the
opportunity
nice
there.
side of Arizona.
Yeah, and just going to Suns games and being able to go play at the Suns arena, like being exposed to all that, it's like, whoa, like this is, you know, it's amazing. But at the same token, I am more of like a blue collar guy, if you would say. Like I value hard work, I value community, I value more intimate relationships, because when you get into that world, into that space, it can be very just like, people are just more so associates, and it's kind of hard to connect more than anything. So I say I would value smaller cities more than anything, because I'm from Cleveland, so like, you know, I think that it's better. But as far as the market of what I'm aiming for, definitely being in those spaces to be able to continue to evolve and expand. But everything happens in the right timing.
Yeah, and then sorry, I was going to interrupt. But to trail back a little bit, how did you get into the traveling? What made you first like say that I'm gonna go for it? I'm gonna leave home and I'm gonna go.
That's a great question. I said, you know what? I'm gonna bet on myself, because I actually heard a neuroscientist talk about this. There's a science to our intuition, and it was embedded in us ever since we were a child. And I thought to myself, I said, Christian, you keep getting all of these signs, and your conscience is like communicating to you. And for me, that's the authentic voice of God. He's telling you to pursue basketball. And I think to myself, I only have this one life. I don't want to die with regret. I want to go all in or nothing. Like, so I said, you know what? Whatever money I have to spend, however hard I have to work to be able to invest into my dreams is what I'm going to do, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't.
Nice. So you just had that drive, and then that gave it to you, and then
Absolutely.
you're like, let's go for it.
Absolutely.
Nice. And no regrets so far?
No regrets. I mean, I have, life is life. We have our moments.
Life is life, yeah.
And obviously sometimes I wish things could be better, but then I think to myself, like, I didn't come this far just to come this far. And I'm closer to my goals where I am now than I was before. So if I just keep pushing, if I just keep going. I've heard Nipsey Hussle, you know, talking about Cali. I've heard him talk about it in an interview. He talks about, like, when you're trying to be successful, he compared it to gravity and science. When you're trying to leave the atmosphere, you penetrate. You're working against physics. It's not personal. So the obstacles that we face in life, it's not personal. It's just a way of life. Just being able to really see that as that.
We gotta navigate, and we gotta keep the faith. That's literally been my mom for the past 6 months.
And don't let anything break your spirit. That's something I've been learning more than anything. I'm very outgoing and very loving, very pure and very genuine. But then when you get out into this world that's corrupted, and people, you know, life is life. Sometimes it can be a little discouraging. Like, man, like, I'm being kind, or I'm really working hard towards this. Why is it not working out? All you can do is just keep going. Don't let anything stop you.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than said than done, right?
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I also think community plays a big part. Because if we don't have that and we don't have each other, then you know, you never know. And I know, because I've known from experience, how far that depression can get, or like that loneliness can feel, even though you have somebody sitting right next to you.
Absolutely.
It's about building that community and being open
Absolutely.
to the the relationships that you're able to make.
Absolutely, I agree. I think vulnerability is a superpower. I don't think it's talked about enough in our society.
Yeah.
I think to be able to express like what you're going through and like that being okay. Like you don't have to be happy every single day. Like life is gonna happen. Like we go through issues. So I think just being able to, and you know, I'm not perfect myself, especially as a man. I think we can suppress our emotions, and as an athlete, we judge ourselves based on our performance or how much money we make or whatever. But it's like, hey, just express how you feel, because you can't heal what you never reveal. And that's just I'm a firm believer of that. So.
Yeah, speak it out into the air, huh?
See, you gotta express.
I ain't expressed yet. Not at that stage yet. I'm still in the...
But now that you're at the Bakersfield Majestics, we didn't even talk about your sports. Like, what position do you play? How does that kind of relate to your life?
I'm a combo guard, so I can play any guard position. I can guard any position, and which I love is because it makes me more versatile for the next level. Because when you get into that space, you have to be able to do all different types of things. I am I'm a gritty person, so like I love to play defense. I love to knock down the shots or get my teammates involved or just be like a dog. I have like that dog mentality where I want it more than anybody. Like I want it more than I want to breathe. You know what I mean? And that's just kind of like how I view it. And yeah, I let my game talk on the floor, I guess you could say.
And how tall are you?
I'm 6'3".
6'3". You were on the stairs already when I met you. I was like, hey, he's already tall, so wait a minute. 6'3", that's crazy.
Yeah, I've been blessed, man.
Yeah, and then so were you always that well, I mean, not always that height, but like were you always above average on height going to
Kinda,
or you just had like a growth spurt out of nowhere?
Yeah, I would say I had a growth spurt. I was a real skinny kid, but I always had this like, I don't know, this desire that I like just outmatched everybody else. Like I believe, like Muhammad Ali says, will always defeats skill. And that's just kind of how I was ever since I was a kid. I was like, you won't outwork me. You know, that's just how I view it, how I think. So, yeah.
Nice.
And then I mean, we're talking basketball, but what about life? Like, what do you do outside to kind of, we have to de-stress. Like he says, I have to get away. Like, what do you do to kind of get away? And
it's a great question too, because you have to give yourself time to have peace, because if not, you'll just go crazy. So for me, I like to read. I love to write. I do a lot of meditation.
I follow you on Instagram, so I know. I'm like, oh, when you like put up, your book and then you like, screenshot it. So guys, follow him on Instagram. You're always like reading or doing motivational.
Yeah, I try to just. It's really almost like I'm communicating to an audience or to people, but I'm really talking to myself. I think there's this internal dialogue that goes on of like seeking higher levels of understanding. So for me, just how my brain works, I'm such a thinker. Sometimes it can be very over analytical, but I need to just be able to just flow and be at peace. So I like to go for walks in nature as well, just to kind of have a digital detox, get off the phone for a little bit. I love music. I love
What's
just
your favorite type of music?
I love R&B, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of rap. I'm still diving into different cultures, but I would say those are kind of my mains for sure.
Who's your favorite artist?
Good question.
I'll put you on the spot here.
If I'm being honest, I love Kevin Gates. I love his music. I love some of his pain music, some of his vulnerable music, things that he talks about. I've personally experienced myself, so like I feel it. I love Polo G. I love Nipsey Hussle. I love Meek Mill's old music. I love the real raw,
And something with a meaning behind it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how he is too.
Jay-Z, I only listen to things that add value. I can't listen to things that are just like not of substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different. Like I think because even me, like I'm like I gotta turn on the music when you guys are driving before I get to my zone, because I need to feel it. I need to experience it.
And then also when I introduced her to the Kendrick Lamar and everything for some of his songs and everything, she'd be like, hold on, let me see. And she reads the lyrics. She's like,
I'm like you said, like analytical. I will read every lyric to make sure and it has to be like a million times before I'm like, okay, I can add you to my playlist.
No, for sure. I get that, for sure.
Yeah.
Out of all that experience and everything, you say you do, you love the giving back, right?
Absolutely.
I seen when she went to the school, and I think I seen on your Instagram where you guys playing with the kids and everything.
Yes. Made my heart smile.
I was gonna say, man, you're gonna dunk on those kids. Like, their course is just a little small, but you can probably dunk anyway. But man, but what other things have you done too that you can highlight?
I would say speaking to the kids has been one of the biggest accomplishments in my life, because it's nothing that money can buy. It's nothing, Definitely, I've had opportunities here. I have other plans as well. Like I want to go speak at prisons. I want to just get more involved to be able to let people know that they're not forgotten about. And but the biggest things to answer your question have been spoken at different elementary schools. I've spoken to an elementary school back in Maryland, and I actually had a kid tell me once he said he wanted to be a doctor because he couldn't save his friend before he died, and that really did something to my soul.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had to catch my tears while I was there, and I
Yeah,
was
you're
just
catching my
like,
tears right now. It was so bad.
because, and I say that to say because like we have so much power within ourselves as humans to be able to make an impact on somebody else if we just take the time to just invest ourselves. How are you doing today? Like no matter how young or how old or whatever, it's like we are all going through something, and it's an unseen battle that goes on here, and we just never know what people are going through. So I would say working around the youth has been one of my biggest accomplishments, and I'm still planning to do more.
I think that even to me, like when we do this, it speaks to me when I'm talking to them because they listen. Like sometimes I mean, you take the advice if you want, if you don't, but to me, that I guess that's what also helps me because I'm like, talking to them or showing them that there's more to life that maybe we didn't have the opportunity to experience, but they can, and then there's options, and you don't have to just go to high school and then work. Like go and experience your life first, and I think we're barely learning how to kind of live life because we had him so young, we didn't get to experience all that, and now we're living. Now we're like a little bit more of like living life and enjoying it and being able to like, I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like we can go out and do these things like that. Like that's the fun side. But like you said, like there's that, like, people think like you can't do any of that stuff because you're stuck in such a, especially because you're not from Bakersfield, but we're from Bakersfield, and like being from such a small community that we're growing. Yes, we're getting bigger, but we're still known as very small. People don't think people make it out, right? Like today there is a camp, right, with DJ Reed, the football player at Independence, and it's an opportunity. Like go and do it and go and experience. You never know what's going to come out of it. Absolutely. We took our shot. We'll see you next time when you're here, hopefully. But, hopefully we also get to build that, but don't forget about where you come from. So if you decide you want to go out and do big things, come back and like be supportive to the youth because they're listening. Even though you might not think so, those little kids, you never know who you're going to make an impact on.
Absolutely. And that's powerful. To touch on that more, like attracts like. It talks about that in psychology. And a lot of times our inner child that's been broken or the things that we may have experienced, and when we see these kids, we want to give them love and the things that we didn't have. I think we should like continue to encourage those things in the media and like normalizing that conversation because so many people haven't, and it's like, you talked about being from a small town. I can relate to that. And in saying that, it's all about beating the odds. Yeah, we're from a small town. Okay. But we got big dreams. Ain't nothing small about our dreams and our goals. And even, let's say more so even than dreams, our commitments, the things that we desire, what we desire will acquire. So just understanding that we're more powerful than we realize. And I think that'll be able to impact the youth in the world in a way that we can't even physically comprehend right now through our human senses. You know what I mean? Because we're being led by him. Yeah. It's not us.
Yeah.
I know. I like that quote. I think you said it before we even got on, though. You said that we surpass.
Prayer surpasses all mortal limits.
Mortal limits. That's crazy, and that's actually it's. Like I said, so I love science and everything, but still, like I said, to be able to surpass your actual thing,
it's true.
That's just a crazy thing to say. And I was like, oh dang,
look at him getting
that hit hard right there. I was like, all right.
Yeah, because to speak to that, like, think about like, let's use prayer. Say if I have my phone right and not connected to Wi-Fi, there's a signal. We can't see it, but it's connected. So when we pray, we may not be able to physically see it, but it's beyond what our little tiny brains can comprehend. God is the creator of everything, and his love and his purpose for our lives. Even the fact that we're even sitting here right now, the odds of us being alive is 1 in 400 trillion. It's insane. That's a stat. So the fact that we're even sitting here right now, having this conversation, we're the chosen ones. We have to like, and I'm talking to myself when I say this too. We have to move with that energy and that intention of like, wow, I'm really a miracle. I'm really here. I'm alive, and I can make amazing things of my life and for lives of others. And I think when we continue to program our minds like that, man,
That's
you
how you're
accomplish
making me feel
anything.
right now, because I'm like, damn, Perla, thank you, because if I didn't take my shot, and a lot of you guys might not know this, so the way that we ended up connecting with Christian was because we were actually at the Casa Loma event that the Bakersfield Majestics were, and beautiful Perla was like, go, and I was like, no. I was like, I'm not in the Chamba like face or mood, like I wasn't like, and I think because social media
Right.
takes you back to all that, right?
Right.
You forget that you're this person, that you sometimes have to be this personality. And I'm saying this, guys, because in most of you that know me, I'm exactly the same that I am here as I am off screen, but there is a certain level of like feeling like your makeup has to be done, feeling like every single outfit has to be put together, and it's like sometimes it's like I don't want to get ready, I just want to go. And that's literally how I went to this thank you, Brenda, because Brenda's a good friend of us. She's the one that puts these events together. So, Brenda, thank you. I love you. But when we do these events, when we went to this event, it was reading, I think it was like reading a book, or it was reading week. So we were reading a book, and we went out, and there's a bunch of different businesses and people from the community, police, the police department, the firefighters, everybody was out there. And Perla was like, oh, look, I think they're basketball players. And I was like, and I was like, okay, let me get my phone. So there I am researching. I was like, oh yeah, they are. And she was like, okay, now go. And I was like, no. And she was like, no, now go. Like, and I was like, okay, great. So I was a little timid, and usually I'm not timid because I'm on camera, right? But in person I am a little timid, because I feel like like I was just telling you, some people are a little standoffish and don't want to hear what you have to say, or they don't believe that you're doing it just because you really think that this is something that is more meaningful. And to me it is. I do this because there's a fulfillment and a purpose for me, just because I know that there is levels of open doors that can happen with just doing this, and giving our athletes a little bit more exposure and a little bit more of a presence. And some people are a little standoffish because they don't want to hear about it, or and so even me as a person, even us, I get intimidated. I don't want to bring it up. I don't bring it up. I let other people bring it up, because I'm sitting there like, you don't need it, I don't know what you're gonna say. I don't know what you're gonna think about me. And I also think we all kind of think that sometimes, right? Even being as humans, we're like, oh, we don't know what you're gonna think of me, or what you're gonna say about me, or but this taught me, because when I saw Christian and some of your other team members were like, oh yeah, like let's do it, and then when you contacted, were like, I'm ready, like let's do this, I was like, oh, we're gonna do this. Like, so
Absolutely.
I thank you for the opportunity, because that also helps me understand and just see like, wow, this is amazing. Like if I wouldn't have took that shot, we wouldn't be sitting here today meeting such an amazing person. So
absolutely, thank you.
I thank you for that.
And I thank you guys. My grandmother has a saying, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So the worst thing that could ever be said is no. And for me, no is just next opportunity. It's like, okay, if it doesn't work out with this person or this group or this business, all right, on to the next.
Yeah.
If it's meant to be, it'll be. So I think that's powerful.
And then just going into, I guess, motivational real quick, who would you say influenced you, or gave you a big influence yourself of, through your whole journey so far?
That's a great question. Honestly, I would say God, because without him, I'm nothing. And a lot of times I can try to control my life or think that I have everything figured out. But without the Lord, I'm literally nothing. And I know he has brought me this far, because I've always tried to live a life to please him more than I try to please the world or abide by the rules of the world. So I would say God, more than anything, because I feel a higher calling for my life. Even though sometimes I get intimidated by it, because when you have big dreams and goals, we can feel afraid. Kobe talks about that. The biggest thing we fear is ourselves, but it's because we're so capable. Like that other quote about we're not inadequate. We're just afraid of all the greatness we have inside of us, basically. So I would say God. Nice. I really would.
I've heard a lot of scriptures about that too. Like just we're so afraid of like what we can do, like ourselves. Like I tell him sometimes, I'm like, am I okay, or like I was like, it's just because I'm afraid to see where I can get.
Exactly.
And he's like, well, just do it. But I'm like, no, but then I stand back because I'm too afraid to see it, right?
Yeah, that's so powerful, because I've dealt with that too. It's almost like imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Like when you're not in a certain space, you're not taught, or you don't grow up a certain kind of way around certain things, you don't really know that it's for you too. just because you weren't handed something, just because you have to work that much harder for it, doesn't mean you don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times it's just about reconditioning the mind, unlearning and unbecoming the ways that aren't like you, and to step into who you really are. I think that that's the main thing over everything.
So what's next?
I guess I have a couple of other things I want to share. I think just on the motivational aspect, like, it's crazy how this all aligned and came together, because this is something I wanted to do. Like I said earlier, I was afraid to spread who I am to the world. I was like, oh, well, maybe I should just be an athlete. And I was dimming myself. I was getting into a little shell. But God doesn't call us to play small. He wants us to step into our purpose and be who we're called to be. And that's why I'm just thankful to do this, because I know there's going to be an athlete or a person who can really resonate with this and who can really be inspired or encouraged to be able to step into who they want to be. Mm-hmm. Because there are no rules to. I mean, they said cars would never exist. They said cameras would never exist. They said these microphones, and like they all said these things wouldn't exist. Mm-hmm. But now we have them today. So it's like, if everything can originate from a thought, just imagine what you can create. Mm-hmm. And the power of the mind it's unbelievable. It truly is. Yeah. So yeah.
So Christian, what's next after? While you're playing here, what's the next step that you're gonna take?
The next step is the G League, which is right underneath the NBA. To create a name for myself, really, to be able to obviously stand for something greater than myself, but to be able to perform at a high level and be able to make my dreams come true. And I'm excited because sometimes during the journey, you can get so fixated on the end goal, but it's like the internal traits I'm building to, once I get there, I'll be prepared and I'll appreciate it that much more, because of all of the hard work and sacrifice and lonely nights and hard times, like I'll appreciate it that much more.
In the world of sports, like for somebody who doesn't know any of that, right? For me, doesn't know anything about that, or like how to get there, but like, how does that work? Do you have to play for a specific number of years, and then you know whatever happens next, and then you get like accepted or you get to play there? Is there a certain like time frame?
So for me, having such a crazy journey, I wouldn't say that there's like a time frame. Usually you just have to play at a college, or you have to have some type of playing experience. Okay. But I would say the main thing is just a networking aspect. If you can find the right people in your corner who can represent you well, and obviously having the talent, you can get yourself in doors that most people wouldn't even understand possible. And I didn't understand, because I fell on my face a lot of times. Like I spoke about earlier, I spent thousands of dollars traveling, airline tickets, tryouts for G League teams, not knowing that it's not just about how well you can perform. It's about not only your experience, but who you know, who can represent you behind closed doors.
It's like the Adam Sandler basketball movie on Netflix.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I love Adam Sandler. I love anything sports movies. Right. So I'm like, now I see it. Right. Okay.
So then if you would do it all over again, how would you do it?
Oh, that's a great question. If I could do it all over again, I would first by loving myself. Because I was distracted by the NBA, the NBA, the NBA, the NBA. I forgot about Christian. I forgot about what made Christian whole, what made Christian sane, and what Christian's purpose is, which is fulfilling God's plan. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, self-love. Because if you don't have self-love, you're not going to thrive in different areas that you want. Secondly, I will work smarter and not harder. I had this mindset of like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in the gym every single day, and I'm going to do this and do that. It's fine to work hard, but there has to be calculated. Your steps have to be calculated. So I would network better. I would reach out to more people who have been in the field, who's in the career field that I want to be in. I would learn from them, or people who have a similar journey. I would ask all the questions. I would get mentors. I would read books. I would do so many different things to get my mind there first before my physical body was at that place, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So because once you prep the mind, the physical reality becomes easy, because you'll manifest the life that you want. It's like you'll pull it to you. Success doesn't happen by coincidence. You draw it to you by the person that you build. Yeah. So
I tell them that all the time.
Oh, we just manifested FaZe Rug into our life out of nowhere. So
we did. I don't know if you know him. He's a YouTuber.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber, and we're in San Diego, and her brother was wanting him to meet him so bad. All of a sudden, he popped up in the mall out of nowhere, and I was like, he's like, yeah, you manifested it. I was like,
telling you, the Bible says there's life and death in the tongue, and. Now you guys are going to I'm going to start speaking all nerdy.
It's so good. You're good. You're good. I'm enjoying this.
So I've learned a little bit about the subconscious mind. I've learned about the law of attraction a little bit, and just that there's a science to manifestation. There's this doctor, his name is Dr. James Doty. He works with Stanford. And he talks about a lot of people, when we think about manifestation, we think about our own selfish desires. But once we start making our lives for others, we draw the life that we want near, like, because we're not so self-absorbed, if that makes sense. So in order to manifest, it's about releasing the attachment to the end goal and focusing on the day-to-day steps that it takes to get there. And then it'll just happen. And like magnetism, you can draw things to you, like our thoughts create things, or it gets really deep. All I'm trying to say is that our minds and souls, if we understood how powerful our minds were, we wouldn't think a negative thought a day. So just to be more mindful of the intention that we place. So for me as an athlete, I'm just giving out some free game here. Meditation, visualization, being able to close my eyes and envision and say, for example, I'm walking through the arena. I can hear the music playing. I can hear the crowd. I can hear kids wanting me to sign their jerseys. I feel this sense of empowerment. When you can visualize it in your up here, it'll make manifest here.
You give me chills because I'm
deep
like,
stuff.
Christian, when you get to the NBA, I want floor tickets,
Floor
seats.
seats.
Okay, I want to be. Now I'm envisioning my manifest. I want to be in the cutest outfit with those high heels and order one of those, those girls that make NBA outfits and jackets. I want one of those.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm just telling you right now.
I'm sitting right next to Mark Cuban. Huh?
Right.
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
because Mark Cuban's not going to be on Shark Tank by the time I get to Shark Tank. So man,
And I think about that too. I'm like, as a basketball player, see, I think higher levels of consciousness, right? So I think to myself, okay, Christian, once you're in this position, how are you going to make the best of this? So we mentioned Mark Cuban, right? The billionaires. What I'm going to do is crazy story. I've actually gotten in contact with a billionaire owner of a team from an NBA team that we kind of talked about earlier, because I said, hey, this is my vision. This is what I want to do. But once I'm in that position, hey, I want to help the community. I want to help the world. What organizations can we create to be able to? That's the space that I'm in, because I know God is using me. I'm an instrument. I'm just a vessel. So I'm just saying that to say, don't put any limits on yourself, because it's all possible. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how frustrated, no matter how tired, if you keep pushing, you will win.
It was like you needed to be here today for me. Like, honestly, even Rubio's and Perla are shaking their head. I'm like, it's like you needed to be here for me.
Thank you. And I needed you guys, for real. Like attracts like. We're just kindred spirits.
Yeah.
We're one and the same. We really are. That's why when we met, the vibe was right. I'm big into energy. Mm-hmm. When the energy is pure and it's real.
And I was a little shy.
Sign me up. and that's fine. But energy is my first language. You don't have to say anything. Off the vibe that I get, I'll know. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna connect with this person. They're amazing people. So I appreciate you guys.
No,
seriously.
we appreciate you, and thank you for coming and like just being here. I'm excited to see where your journey. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be like, Christian, you made it. Where are my seats? And I'm gonna take like 10 more athletes. So where's their tickets?
Absolutely. I would love to.
I'll get there. Because that is the dream. I think a lot of people don't know that, and I'll share that a little bit. Just and Rubio, you can clip as you please. The dream for Chamba is to give athletes that opportunity. I want to take you guys to camps. I want to take you to football and basketball and soccer and volleyball camps, and give you that opportunity that not everybody gets to have. It's not all about the resources, but if we as a community can come together and support that and allow you guys that opportunity to go and pursue those, and you take your shot, then you take your shot, because I'm not the one, he's not the one, we're not the ones on that field, on that court. It's you.
Absolutely.
So if we can give you the door and open it for you to just be there, and you just that's on you.
I wanted to touch on that too, is to live a life that feels true to you. Because a lot of times with the external world, we can get so distracted on, should I pursue this? I'm not getting the results that I want right now. Or you have to listen to what's inside, because when you follow your heart, you always win. And I'm a victim of this. Like, people have told me, Christian, how could you make it to the NBA? You didn't go play. It's not about what you can understand. It's about what he's telling me to do. It's about the signs that I've received. So like, even with Chamba, like the vision that you guys have for this, it's there for a reason. Like, it's not by accident. It's not a coincidence. Like, this is something way more powerful than you could ever possibly understand. And in due time, you'll be like, wow, I'm glad that we kept going. I'm glad we didn't stop. I'm glad that we kept connecting with the youth. I'm glad we kept, you know what I mean? And I think it's all relative. With me in basketball, you guys in business, I think it's just about listening to yourself and tuning out the world.
But if that team in Arizona wouldn't have shut down, like I say, it wouldn't have brought you to where you are today. So like you were telling us right now, that God shows signs, right? And then this is what happens.
Divine timing. you know, for me, it's like the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And the more I like really analyze the world, look at the world, I'm just like, wow, God, like, please just allow me to surrender more. Because the more I surrender, the more clarity I have. And it's so hard because our thoughts are constantly distorted by the world. But it's like, wait a second. You wake me up every single day. You give me opportunities that most people don't have. Who am I to complain? You know, and this is more than enough. And when you have the attitude of gratitude, you just attract more into your life. So, yeah, it is all divine timing.
There we go.
It really is.
And guys, we don't tell you guys just to tell you guys. We tell you guys because we've experienced it, and all
Yes.
we want is more.
Yes.
We want to see the happiness. For me, it's the happiness. I want to
Yes.
see your guys' happiness.
Yeah, and then we're doing that by we're passing down our knowledge of what we learned.
Yes.
Christian, what we learned from you, like I said, we're passing down. We're gonna
Yes.
pass down the knowledge too. Like, and then
Yes.
like she said, it's the connections that we make on this journey that we're having. Is that not only can, like I said, we can maybe like send you guys to camp, but we can do is
We'll
say that
get
we,
there. See,
but
he's
saying
so-
that hey, we know somebody. We know
Right.
somebody that can help you that we can't, but we know
Right.
somebody, and that's connections that we're making here today. so.
Absolutely. And that's powerful. And I wanted to speak on too, like just understanding that life, there's going to be a lot of downs. I think it's important to acknowledge that, because I think in this world we live in, it's painted as, oh, life is going to be great and all. It's not how life works. You're going to experience a lot of hardships, a lot of adversity, but it's how you respond to that adversity. And that's something that God has been teaching me. How bad do you want it? Do you really want what you say that you want? Because everybody desires things, but who's willing to? It's no longer about what I want, is what am I willing to struggle for? And I think that's once you have that perspective of like, I'm willing to endure any type of pain to accomplish my goals. And I wanted to just say that on camera, because for anybody listening, you don't have to compare yourself. You don't have to worry about what this person is doing. You don't have to worry about the timing of it all. Just continue to stay diligent, continue to stay patient, push forward, stay positive. And when you do that, you'll be so surprised where you get. So embrace those downs just like those ups.
Yeah. Embrace them and just keep the faith. That's what I say. Keep the faith.
You have to.
Keep going.
That scripture, faith is the substance of things not seen, but things hoped for. I thought that's, we can't see it, but we can feel it. So if you can feel it, you can have it. You can be. If you can see it, you can be it. You know. So
I'm like, I can see it. We're gonna go be it. He's gonna start
You
his
guys are gonna
TikTok
be it.
career.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys are doing amazing. Seriously. I mean,
Thank you.
continue
We
to push.
appreciate it.
Yeah, continue to
Well,
push.
I'm so happy that you came.
Thank
I
you.
feel so good. I know Rubio's probably like, it's time. But we'd love to have you back. We'd love
Absolutely.
to see what we can do with the community and bring, other coaches and athletes together, because it's just about the experiences.
Absolutely.
It's about creating those. So I'm so happy that, Perla, thank you for pushing me, that we got to do this. And I can't thank you enough just for being here. Not only just being on the podcast, but your words of inspiration. And I promise you, you probably didn't know when you were walking through those stairs where me, Rubio, and Perla were like, I was like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. How much more you opened my mind to, pursue and keep going.
Thank you.
So I thank you for that.
I thank you guys. Thank you.
And
for
out
having
there
me.
watching, man, hopefully, like I said, they hear the word and everything, they listen, because like I said, what you said is very inspiring, and
Thank you.
It should go a long, long way, because it
Thank
helps
you.
out a lot of people.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me. It means a lot. Seriously.
Thank you. Well, is there anyone that you want to thank?
I just want to thank God. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. I want to thank him, because without him, I am nothing. And I will always say that. Like, I thank him for bringing me this far. I thank him for opportunities. I thank him for allowing me to continue to strive to be better and to live a purpose-driven life.
I have one more question before we leave. Because I know this is kind of contradicting. It's like, it's a conflict type of question. But some people aren't open to media, right? This type of media or podcasting or anything like that. What would you say to those athletes who are a little standoffish or don't want to take the opportunity? Because this is open to everybody. We do it for everyone, and it is free. But what do you kind of think?
I would say to face your fears. And fear is false evidence appearing to be real. It's just an illusion in your mind. And sometimes we get uncomfortable. That's fine. You're not supposed to feel perfect, but you'll be surprised, like, what's on the other side of that fear. It's greatness. It's love. It's joy. It's things that you haven't experienced yet, because there are invisible shackles here. So once you just unlock it, throw it to the side and realize you're the only thing that can stop you, I would just say be open-minded, because why not? And you never know who you could inspire. So for any athlete, anybody listening, just understand your power.
Okay.
Nice.
Guys, we're open to have you guys on. I know school
Join.
ends in the end of May, but that doesn't mean that we end doing this. So we'll
Absolutely.
still be here doing all of that.
Your
the
story is your
podcast.
glory.
Yeah,
Your
that's-
story is your glory. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys all listening. I really hope that we can elevate this level, this episode to the next level.
You will.
But definitely love for you guys to just continue to watch, to support, to like, to subscribe. Guys, come on, subscribe. I know you guys are like following on Instagram, but I need you guys to subscribe on YouTube. So if you guys can do that for us, we'd love to get the platform out there. And hopefully, you know, maybe one day we'll be on like the Apple Podcasts and everything else.
You will.
We'll be
Speak
out
it.
there as well on Spotify and all that. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching and being a part of this and being part of Chamba Sports. So don't forget to
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.